to another country. Let's take for instance the issue of dollar and let's say Nigeria currency actually. The naira is depreciating, in fact, if not every week, let's say it's depreciating time for time, which is one of the issues. Why people go there, because they know when they earn in dollar, when they come back to Nigeria, they are like boss among their people. So one of the issue about it is like the situation of going outside the country is like you're going to earn more, because definitely the cost of living. That is what even people in the countries that we are talking about that they are there. Some of them are still complaining because it can't be satisfied with everybody. Everybody cannot be satisfied with the current situation of the country. Because when we talk about the developed countries, I think developed countries are countries that are able to meet the necessary needs of the people and the nation itself. So I think we can just start the discussion by talking about the currency, which is one of the hindrance to the issue of not believing in your country and going to another country, which is part of the should I say part of the, I don't know the word to use, but I think it's part of the issue and part of the hindrance.
Honorable Tunde, that's a wonderful contribution. Any more contributions? Okay, I think let us be gender sensitive. Honorable, please.
Good evening, Your Excellencies. Good evening, fellow Nigerians. My name is Peace Eruwa Gadama, the Executive Youth Governor of Delta State. So talking about Pan-Africa, His Excellency, the Chairman of the Governors Youth Forum, asked the question. He said, if you are the President of Nigerian youth, what will you do to promote Pan-Africa, to make the situations better in Pan-Africa, or with regards to Pan-Africa? So if I'm elected as the President, when I'm elected as the President of the youth of Nigeria, there's one thing I would like to look into, which is creating policies that will promote youthful innovations, creating policies that will create more avenue for youth to thrive, for business to thrive. Because the reason why most of us travel, most youth in Nigeria travel abroad is probably because the environment is not settling enough, or there's no support system, there's no easy fund system, there's no easy access to educational systems, or there's no easy access to business loans, funds, and then there's no room for innovations. Like as an entrepreneur in Nigeria, you agree with me that there's a lot of issues on that, with the tax high. You want to open a company, you want to create an industry, there's so much rigorous processes such that an average youth in Nigeria would try and probably get frustrated with the whole economy and the processes. Like at a point I wanted to do some registration to my company, and then they told me they gave me a long list. This was many years back, a long list that was...
Thank you, Honorable Peace. That's a wonderful summation. What do you think we can do differently to impact Africa as a subcontinent?
That is what I am talking about, sir. Okay. I'm saying that we can create policies that will encourage useful innovations, that could encourage businesses to thrive.
We're actually talking about collective Africa, not just Nigeria.
I'm talking about Africa, not just Nigeria, sir.
All right, thank you.
And then lastly, I'll talk about innovations, like I said, creating innovations. And then when Obasanjo came in, he brought up something that we call by Nigeria for Nigeria. So we can also use that policy in Africa and say, by Africans, by Africans for Africans. And that was when Obasanjo brought up that policy in Nigeria. I'm using Nigeria to reflect Africa as a whole. It helped our system, especially our textile industry, so that we can use our cotton to create our own textiles, to create our own Ankara. And today, Nigeria Ankara is everywhere. So if we can put in that policy to harness our industries in Africa, to ensure that our products, our agricultural products, our mineral resources are harnessed properly, and then we are using it to produce things that we can actually call ours, and then we can export.
So, Honorable Peace, if I should understand you well now, you mean with these innovations, we can be able to
create a bond.
Yes,
sir.
Between that. That's a wonderful contribution. I think Honorable Jaffer Yakub, you have something to say, but before then, I would like us to look at our topic of discussion in this manner, that is Pan-Africanism. What do we think as a continent, as a subcontinent, we can bring to make Africa to be attractive to others and to be independent in terms of security, in terms of education, in terms of economy, and how do you think we can be able to achieve this? I think our discussion should be centered on this. So, Honorable Jaffer Yakub, when we are making contribution, please let us also be conscious of time so that others can contribute. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my chairman.
Thank you.
I remain distinguished His Excellency Mr. Yakubu Jafaru, the Executive Governor of FCT. If you are talking of Pan-Africanism, it's a movement of our forefathers who fought for our independence. So they fought for our independence because Africans have the same history. That is history of colonialism, history of neocolonialism, and history of imperialism. So they fought for our independence. That is the origin of Pan-Africanism. So if we really want to assist our continent, that is African continent, to participate with other continents at the international level, so we must adopt the real meaning of Pan-Africanism. Since we are no longer under colonialism, we are no longer under what? Neocolonialism, we are now under imperialism. We have to adopt the following things in Africa if we really want our country or our continent to grow. Number one, we have to abolish permit or visa between African countries. If an African person, for instance a Nigerian, is going to Senegal, there is no need for visa or any permit because we are all Africans, we are one. Number one. Number two, if we really mean Pan-Africanism, we have to establish a single currency within the African countries. This is number two. And number three, we have to create what we call United States of Africa, like what is obtained in the United States of America. So, number four, our economic policies should be favorable to all other African countries. There is no restriction between Nigeria and Cameroon in terms of economic policy. If there is any policy, we shouldn't create policies that can relegate other African countries from coming to Nigeria or from going to Ghana to establish their businesses. We are all Africans, we are single.
Honorable Yakub, how do you think having a single currency in Africa will help in the economy of the African subcontinent?
Having a single currency will assist the African continent in the following way. Now we are Nigerians, for instance, or we are Africans, because we are talking of Pan-Africanism. We are using dollar in Nigeria. With your dollar, you can go to Usia market and purchase everything. Understand? That is why our currency is becoming weaker every day, because we are using another country's currency. That is why our currency is becoming weaker every day. If we can unite, if the African countries can unite and establish a single currency and do away with dollars and other foreign currencies.
Okay, are you now telling the House that countries like, let's say, Cameroon, Niger, that use a French
CFA.
developed currency
CFA.
should abandon the currency from, let's say, from France, and
Yes.
now come in a United States, in a United Nation, whereby each country now will abandon their currency and the whole Africa will adopt a single currency.
Yes.
Don't you think now that this will be impossible? And if you think it is possible, how do you think that this will be will resolve issue of even in Africa we have West Africa, we have South Africa. Some countries practice democracy, some are under military. Do you think it is possible to bring everybody on board in one platform?
It is possible. Why Niger and Cameroon and other Francophone countries are using CFA is because of the imperialism system of Western nations. Understand? If the African countries, as I said earlier, can come together and create their own currency, it will be better for us.
All right, that's a wonderful contribution. Honorable Fanel, the Executive Youth Governor of Adamawa State, you can make your contribution in brief, please.
Thank you very much. Quickly, due to time, when we talk about Pan-Africanism, it is actually a mental movement for Africans to bond as brothers. It's recognizing that a person from Tanzania, a person from Gambia, a person from Ghana is my fellow brother as a Nigerian. And coming together, though, as he said, it's a movement initiated by our forefathers while working on the sugarcane plantation. They started wondering, okay, how can we free ourselves from these niggers? How can we find our own way, be our own men? This movement actually bettered what we have as the African Union today. It bettered what we have as the economic community of West African states. It brought about what Africans came together. Speaking about common currency, which I think in 2019, 2009 they initiated it in ECOWAS to have an eco currency, which all ECOWAS countries will share one currency, having one to operate as all West African countries. Till they intend to start work in 2020, the implementation, though we are yet to see it. But one of the pending challenges we have is, free trade, economic free trade in Africa has not been implemented, whereby a movement of goods and services is not free. There's still this trade limitation. Even though I see right now that if you go to process visa, the ECOWAS has done very well that there's nothing like Nigerian visa, Ghana visa. If you are from West Africa, your passport will carry you some countries.